Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on TikTok and YouTube platforms, I am Mr. Clay. Walk with me. We're going through the book of Leviticus. We're in Leviticus chapter 15, the 15th chapter of Leviticus. First, let us pray. Oh, most holy, even the spirit that moved upon the water, we thank you for everything, even Yahweh. We thank you for everything that you've done, even Yahuwah. We thank you for everything that you've done. We give you the glory, whatever language that we understand you in, we give you the glory. Oh, we praise you for just what you've done, a new day. We thank you that a new day is going to come because you're going to have the victory over your enemies, those spirits that attack our minds day in and day out, that bombard us not only from the air but from other people, what they put into us, what they cause us to see, and the things, the deceptions that these spirits have deceived them, they try to deceive us. But hey, we ask you not to let us be drawn by the spirits of other nations or the spirits of other men, but by your spirit, that we be drawn, even your word, which is spirit, which is life. And we thank you for everything that you've done. We give you the glory, even that day where we should be able to praise you without getting tired, without getting weary, but yet be as the angels that never get weary nor tired, even as you are. And we thank you and we praise you and give you the glory. Yes. We're in Leviticus chapter 15, a beautiful day. And for those of you who went on the Sabbath yesterday, yes, the Sabbath, that Tuesday, I hope you had a happy Sabbath. Now, some of you persuaded that you're going to have the Sabbath after the Egyptian calendar, and some have the Sabbath after the full moon, the month of Abib. Evening is the first day to morning, and then that same evening to morning is the second day. This is the way God works. But either way, until we all come into that knowledge, that one knowledge, and speak the same things, peace. Okay. Now, in verse 1, and the I am speak unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when any man hath run the issue out of his flesh, because of this issue he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness, in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue. It is his uncleanness. Verse 4, every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and he shall be unclean until the evening. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And if that the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And what saddle whatsoever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean. And whosoever touches anything that was under him or shall be unclean until the evening. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and shall be unclean until the evening. Remember Rachel in the book of Genesis. Her father was coming after Kobe. And what happened? She stole his idols, which was funny to me. She stole his idols, and then all of a sudden he wanted to check everybody out to make sure who got his idols, and he was going to kill them. But Rachel, she had to lie in fear for her life, that she sat on her donkey or whatever beast she was sitting on with all the rags, and said she was on her woman time. And so what happened was, most of the time you're going to back up. When a woman says she's on that time, any decent and clean man. Oh, okay, all right. He don't even really want to get near you, tell you the truth. Now, this is things that are in us. And they had that law back then too, whether you wondering or not. No, it's not written. A lot of things that happened and was said and commanded back then are not written. Now, even these things, a man that spit on somebody, that is low. You remember during the demic, people were spitting on people and said they had the demic. But anyway, the thing is that either way, God is saying to keep clean, to keep healthy, to keep disease free, people will have to practice cleanness between each other. Now, verse 11, and whosoever he touches that has an issue and hath not rinsed his hands in water In other words, if you have an issue, wash your hands. If you're touching them, you're tending to them. You're a doctor or a nurse or whatever. Wash your hands. This is not religion. This is just common sense and common cleanliness and common hygiene. Yes. Wash your hands. And every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he that has an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number himself. Now this is the part where God says this is where you're going to be looked at. Levitical priests were used for many multiple tasks. And himself, he shall number him 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take unto him 2 turtle doves. He's going to sacrifice to the Most High, or 2 young pigeons, and come before the I am unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Because everybody know he was sick. Now here the priest deemed him clean, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before the I am for his issue. Now you have to realize I am was really healing a lot of people back then. Many of them that were going through the wilderness, their shoes didn't wear out, their clothes didn't get tattered, and they were not sick because they were being obedient at that time. Although they had some things and issues, God got to the point where they wasn't going to make it, okay, because he saw their hearts. But if any man, in verse 16, if any man's seed of copulation go out of him, he shall wash his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the evening. In other words, wet dreams or whatever, some uncontrolled urge or whatever. But either way, you're going to be unclean. He said, wash yourself, even to this day. That's something you can do. Now, every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water, and be unclean until the evening. Now this also goes with the copulation between man and woman. We're not talking about the other one. That there is an abomination. But either way, between man and woman, once you are husband and wife, with man and woman, man husband, woman wife, he says, now wash yourself. Wash yourself. And you're going to be unclean until the evening. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue is in her flesh be blood, she will put apart 7 days. And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening. And everything that she lieth upon her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. And whosoever touches anything that she sat on shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean till the evening. And if it be on her bed, or anything whereon she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the evening, or evening. If any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days. In other words, he said, don't lie with the woman on her cycle. That's what he's saying. That's a commandment. But the fact is, here's the thing. To be acceptable before the Most High, you're going to have to be unclean 7 days. But nobody won't tell you that. You're not going to tell the priest that, because you say, ain't no priest. What are you going to do, tell Jesus? Okay, now, here we go. And if the woman have an issue, in verse 26, of her blood out of the time of her separation, if it run beyond her time of separation, all the days of the issue of her cleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. In other words, the days of her separation is the days of her cycle, is what he's saying. Why does he put so much on the woman? Well, you have to go back to the book of Genesis for that. And every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean as the uncleanness of her separation. Now, some of you have to pray that prayer. Or you ask the Most High not to give you the mind that Eve had when she was in the garden. To steal your mind from that spirit that caused Eve to sin, that you might not sin and suffer those. Some women don't even suffer. Now, on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the I am for the issue of her uncleanness. Now, for those of you on TikTok, this is going to be the end, and peace. Okay, thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they dare not in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and his defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue, of the man, and of the woman, of him that lieth with her, that is unclean. Unclean. So the fact is, God's saying, wash, take a bath. You're around sick people. You may attend to sick relatives, sick friends. You might work in the medical field, as a nurse or a midwife or whatever have you. Some of you say, I don't take it. You don't know what you come into daily contact with people every day. You don't know what they're doing. You got women that on their period that might have touched themselves, and here they are serving your food to you. And you don't know whether they washed their hands or not. You can't smell it, neither can you see it. And some people are so nasty, they do not respect even other human beings, or because they might have a bias towards you for some reason or another. These things, people do unclean things, and unclean things will and have happened to you that you do not know of. But the fact is that God says, wash, wash, and wash. For this reason, we do have all kind of STIs and different things that we should not have because of our uncleanness. And with that, we're going to say, peace.